now, you can lock in 30 days of any NBA or college basketball plays, including 5% best bets released from your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper for just $6.63 per day. A 30-day NBA pass is priced at $189 and a 30-day college basketball pass at $189. But you can get both for only $199. To take advantage of this special offer, just go to WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Choose your favorite handicapper and lock in all basketball action for the next 30 days. Even better, there's no limit to how many handicappers this offer can be redeemed on.
And away we go here on a Monday. It is January the 18th, 2021. Welcome in another edition of the College Basketball Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. I'm Joe Raineri. 4 games on tap here today on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We are talking Kansas, Baylor, going to be a big powerhouse matchup there. Also, Florida State, Louisville in the ACC, St. John's and UConn getting set to tip off here within the hour. And we also have LaSalle versus St. Joe's. 4 games we're going to cover for you today. Let me introduce the panel. Just a fantastic all-star panel here today. Brian Leonard joining us again. He has not basically flipped us off and said, I'm never coming back. So that's always a good sign, Brian. Thank you very much. Dave Kogan in the house, as well as Ralph Michaels. Catch him on Twitter here, guys. Real simple there. Twitter handles right now for you at @BLeonardSports, at Dave Kogan, at Cal Sports LV. Always some very entertaining and if not informative information coming your way here. Make sure that you are following each of them on Twitter. And Brian, we'll start with you. Welcome back, my friend. Has college basketball been treating you since last we spoke? And what do you got going on at WagerTalk right now?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of struggle over the weekend, college basketball. NFL struggled in the NFL over the weekend. But when you're struggling, you give out less plays. And that's what I'm looking to do right now. I've got a hockey play up on this site. I may use a college basketball play, likely passing in the NBA because you get so much information on the players playing and it comes so late. That's a struggle in the NBA. But yeah, it'll bounce back.
I mean, that's it. It's a brand new week. That's the beauty about it. And Dave, listen, man, we talked about it, right? We talked about the reverse curse on social media. You had a whole lot of things working this weekend. I'll let you tell everyone what a crazy game that Weber State was.
Yeah, and I talked about this at the hockey show earlier. It's funny how it goes. Saturday night, I had a play on the LA Kings, and it's a winner. Until it wasn't. Minnesota scores with 1 second left in regulation, and then they win in overtime. So a horrible loss. And then yesterday I get it back on a best bet on Weber State. I mean, this was just one of the best scheduling spots, or actually from Tarleton State's standpoint, one of the worst scheduling spots you'd ever want to see. And it looks like it's dead. I mean, Tarleton State goes out and plays a heck of a first half. They're knocking down threes all over the place. But they hit a wall. In the second half, they completely ran out of gas. So the analysis was correct on the game. But it really didn't look like it was going to get there. I mean, I've still got to cover 12. And they were down early in the second half by 14. So probably not going to get there. But they melted big time down the stretch, managed to get ahead by more than the spread. And then a couple of things went right. I had the Tarleton coach call timeout when he didn't have any left, which cost two technical free throws, and some guy on Tarleton missed a windmill dunk, just clanked it off the rim. So, that's 4 points went my way, and that really was the difference. Best bet winner on Weber State. I'll take it. 12-2 on those best bets in college basketball. And don't have one today. I do have one in hockey, but I've got the Kansas Baylor game on the site right now for $9, and also have that best bet in the NHL for $9. So yesterday was real good, and hopefully tonight will be as well.
Want to remind that thank you for bringing that up, Dave. It is $9 Monday at WagerTalkingSportsMemo.com. Best bets, guys, right now, $9 at WagerTalk.com. And it is your last chance. Today is it. $199, 30 days, all access, every college basketball, every NBA play from these gentlemen. Any of the handicappers at WagerTalkingSportsMemo.com, all their basketball plays, all access, 30 days, just $199. That is going away, so take advantage of that. Ralph Michaels, my friend, welcome in. I was rooting for the sweep for Cleveland State over the weekend. I'll take 1 out of 2, though, a good split. How was your weekend? What do you got going on at Wager Talk?
Well, we talked yesterday. Last week there were a lot of close losses, and when that happens, things even out. So on a 10-1 run in college hoops, had an under that you think, oh my God, it's going to overtime, I'm going to lose. But, it was Idaho State, Sacramento State, so it was 57-56 after the first overtime. So I'm thinking, here I go, I'm going to have an overtime game, and I'm going to lose it in double overtime. But he missed a free throw late, and I win the under. So 10-1 run, happy with it. Nothing today in hoops. I have one afternoon game, so that's going off in a few minutes. And not going to force action. It's a pretty deep card, but if plays aren't warranted, I'm not going to force the plays. Had one afternoon game, and I'll be back Tuesday with more hoops.
Love it. All right, let's dive into, if we can here. We got a game coming up, 2:30 Eastern time. We'll get to the performers here right after this. I want to get the St. John's, Connecticut game out there for those of you that are watching right now. You got about 45 minutes before tip-off here. And I'm going to start with you, Brian, here, number 25, Connecticut. 4-game winning streak here, hosting St. John's. St. John's, not great. 3 of their last 4 games have been L's. They lost to Marquette on Saturday. Meanwhile, Connecticut took care of business last Monday, I believe, against DePaul. It is a big number, 9.5. It opens up, total 143. Brian, where do you have these 2 teams right now?
Yeah, the 9.5s are long gone. I'm looking at 7s right now, so there's been a lot of money coming in on St. John's. St. John's sits at 2-6 in conference. They have wins over Butler and Georgetown, but they're 0-6 straight up against top 100 opposition. The Johnnies ranked 323rd in defensive effective field goal percentage. It's a tough team to back right now. UConn has the weakest home court value in the conference. When you look at some of the sites out there, they rank 259th in the country, so there hasn't been a strong home court for UConn. And they do host Xavier on Wednesday. Bookmaker's out for the season. I made some money on Connecticut earlier, and I don't know if I trust St. John's for the full game here, but I think there's some value on St. John's at +4 in the first half. That's probably my better play on this game. St. John's +4 in the first half. I just don't trust them in the second half. They're not one of those teams that's able to hold a lead. So I'll go with the first half bet here on St. John's.
I'm seeing even a couple, you mentioned it, bro. I'm seeing even a couple of 6.5s here, Ralph, too, popping up. I mean, it's been a week since we've seen Connecticut. Maybe a first half play somewhere in here?
Well, the line moved because James Bouknight, he was questionable the first 2 games. Now he's having elbow surgery, so they know he's in for a period of time. Brian, I want to ask you this question. Does it change your handicapping if you have a guy that is out for an injury based on a game? Or if you're a team, do you play differently because now you know your superstar is out for an extended period of time?
Yeah, I think when they're from their day-to-day, I think they tend to rely on him more often, expect him to come back. But once a team comes out and says, okay, he's done, then everybody can get back. They've got their positions. They've got their rotations. I think it actually helps teams when they know a player is done for the season.
You had talked about a couple sources saying UConn's home court. I'm going to call BS on that. They're playing at Gamble Pavilion. No team in the Big East has ever played in Gamble Pavilion. I mean, because they moved because it's on site. Look at their 2 games at home. They lost to Creighton by 2 points and they covered, and they beat DePaul by 19, laying 8.5. I think they have a very strong home court at Gamble. I think it's a big disadvantage for these teams coming in that have never played at this arena. But with that said, St. John's we know is going to press tempo. We know St. John's is going to get a lot of steals, but we also know they're not as efficient offensively, and UConn is very efficient defensively. I'm actually reversed with you guys. I like UConn in the first half because St. John's starts pressing, and they press more in the second half than they do in the first. But, it's a game. Why are we talking about a 2:30 game? Well, simply because, number one, it is on the main Fox channel because of Martin Luther King Day, and it's the second or third best game on the day. So very little time to get your bets down on it if we give you any information, but certainly a game that a lot of people are going to have eyeballs on.
And Dave, St. John's been playing better as of late. How much do you trust them in this spot?
No, not that much. I don't think they're not very good. They can compete, but they just don't win these games. And you look down the list, I mean, they're sitting 2-6 in the Big East right now, and they've had very competitive games. I mean, they lost by a couple of points to Marquette. They took Xavier, gave Xavier a good fight. They split with Georgetown, lost the game in overtime, had a decent loss to Seton Hall, but they just don't win games. I think Connecticut's going to get hurt substantially by the book night injury. I mean, he's the best player on the team. It really impacts their bench, which was a strength and now probably isn't nearly as much. Numbers come down to 7, though. I'm not interested in St. John's at 7, so it's a complete pass for me.
Total pass there. All right, guys, that's going off here at about 2:30 Eastern time for you. Game number 2 also coming up 4 o'clock Eastern time today. Let's talk a little bit about the city of brotherly love, if we can. St. Joe's taking on LaSalle. And Dave, I'll come to you here. LaSalle opens up as a 1.5-point favorite. I'm seeing 2s out there right now. Total at 146.5, up a little from 145. How do you have these two teams lined up?
I guess Daly's not going to play for St. Joe's, and he's the best player on the team. And the team's 1-9. So you take the 1-9 player off the best player off the team. You want him, you can have him. The flip side is LaSalle. They've lost 3 in a row. They're not much good. I was kind of interested as to why we picked this game, to be honest with you, because it's like it's such a shitty game. I don't know. It's a game I went right past. There's no way I'm laying points with LaSalle against anybody, and I just can't play St. Joe's without Daly. I mean, they don't. The team has very little going for it to begin with, and you take Daly out, and he continues to be out. I don't know when he played. I think the last game he played was the end of 2020. Maybe they used to being without him, but I don't know. I like the last 2 games we're going to talk about, so I'm not going to waste time on this one.
All right, Ralph, you picked it, so tell us, which one of these teams sucks less than the other?
Well, we picked it because it was on national TV. It's on the CBS Sports Network, and if you look at the Monday card, it wasn't very deep, guys. So the pickings were slim. So I do say that. Dave, you talked about Daly. He's missed 5 starts.
Right.
Longpree, who made the first 2 starts, has missed the last 2 games. He's questionable. Greg Foster's missed the last 4 starts. He was well. So not only you're out Daly, you're out without 3 starters, but all 3 of those starters have missed those last 3 games. That's why they shot 36% against Davidson, 37% against St. Bonaventure. I like the under here. I think, you're missing that many guys again. You're going on the road. They did have 6 days off to Davidson. LaSalle has shot 26% against George Mason, 40.2% against Davidson. Again, Davidson's a much better team than both of these guys, but I do like the under here today.
The number crept up a little there, Brian Leonard, to 146.5, up 1.5 points. I don't know. Are you in agreement with Ralph? Maybe we should be looking at the under here in this?
I don't have anything on the total. And I just want to touch, Ralph mentioned the Connecticut. Connecticut's been so much better on the road. I think that's why their home doesn't look as strong, at least to my numbers. Which was mentioned about St. Joe's. They've yet to beat a Division I opponent, but they have played 8 teams ranked in the top 100. That's something to keep in mind. A lot of these teams, when they step down in class, they're going to be looking a little bit better. They are 310th defending the 3, and the Explorers do shoot a lot from distance. A concern, if you like LaSalle, is their free throw shooting. Anytime you've got a game with close to a pick'em number, that's always got to be a concern. LaSalle's horrendous at getting to the line, 345th in the country. When they get there, they're 321st in making their shots. So if this game comes down to the wire, I would prefer the St. John's side. In fact, I still prefer the St. John's side. It's sitting at 2. If it was 3, I'd be on it as a play. Lean that side. Not going to be on it unless it gets to 3.
All right. Well, then let's move on to the 7 o'clock Eastern time here tonight. That would be in the ACC. Florida State taking on Louisville here. And Interesting matchup here. Louisville opens up as I believe, a 1.5 favorite. I've seen 3.5, so I'm even seeing some 4s out there right now in favor of Louisville. Total 140. It's moved up to 141, holding strong there. Ralph, I'll start with you. Big battle here between these two teams. Louisville trying to bounce back from a horrific loss to Miami here. Florida State on a little bit of a roll here. How do you have these two teams rated, Ralph?
Well, Florida State, obviously, I was looking at Florida State and I was thinking about making them a play. But when you have your two guards, both questionable, Walker's questionable, Barnes is questionable. Walker said, I'm going to find a way to fight through it and play. Barnes likely is not going to play. That's too much for me to go on the road. Florida State, remember, they had those COVID issues. So now they're playing a third game in 6 days. And this is only their second true road game. So, if you're playing back-to-back doubleheaders, that's pretty tough in college basketball. Although Florida State is the side I want, both cards questionable, second true road game, 6th game in 3 days. Situation clearly calls for Louisville.
Brian, where do you have these two teams right now at this point? Is Florida? Could you even look at Florida State in this to pull it off?
Yeah, I won't be on Florida State here because of the possible injuries and the shorthandedness. There is one positive coming up for Florida State. It may not matter in this game, but opponents are shooting 77.1% from the foul line, which is 334th in the country. So there'll be some positive regression there. The Scotty Barnes missed the last game. That's a concern here. We do have a double revenge for the Cards. They lost both games they played against Florida State last year. Talking about strong home courts, the Cards right now have got ranked 22nd when playing at home. They're undefeated at home this season. They are off that road loss to Miami. And in that game, they shot 3 of 20 from three-point range. So it was a really bad shooting game for them. I really came into the day looking to be on Louisville. Unfortunately, everybody else is doing the same thing, and it's up to 3.5, 4 at Penny, which is one of the sharpest books out there. So that's going to keep me off. I like Louisville, but it's just got to the point now where I'm not going to lay that inflated number.
Dave, one of the things we can always count on with Leonard Hamilton in Florida State is depth. He manages to get these monster guys there. How about this year?
Well, the problem is the backcourt is going to be an issue here. Louisville's strength is its backcourt anyway. And now they've got, I think, a real advantage in this game. The betting market's hopped on it. When we send in the games we're going to use for the best bet on the show, I sent in Louisville, and at the time I think it was 1.5. It's still going to be my best bet here in the show. Won't make my card at 3.5, but it's just Florida State's second road game of the season. Their only other road game was a 10-point loss at Clemson. Louisville, very good at home, coming off a very bad game. I think the spot favors Louisville. I think the personnel information favors Louisville. I think Cardinals win this. I just can't recommend it as a real play at -3.5 because the good number's gone. But since it's not for my money, I'll say Louisville minus the points gets there anyway.
That's there anyway. It's going to be a great game. 7 o'clock here, guys. And before we get to our Baylor taking on Kansas Big 12 matchup of the night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time tip-off there, I do want to remind you that it is $9 Monday right now at WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com, which means the best bets on the board, guys, right now. Yours for $9 if you head on over to WagerTalk.com, SportsMemo.com, and keep in mind, TikTok, the great promotion, the ability for you to be able to get 30 days all access, every basketball play from these gentlemen for 30 days for just $1.99. It's going away shortly, so now would be the time for you to hop on that. Grab it, 30 days, $1.99. Every college basketball and NBA play from them, all yours for $1.99. All right, Dave, I'm going to come back to you here. Kansas, Baylor, it's the showdown a lot of people have been waiting for here. Kansas win one, they lose one, they win one. Baylor finally won a game that wasn't double digits, though, against Texas Tech over the weekend. That looks like a big number. How do you have these two teams here tonight?
Well, this is the game I used in college basketball, so I'll save everybody $9. if they watch the show, because I like Baylor. I think they'll win the game easily. Gonzaga and Baylor are the two best teams in the country. And not only are they the two best teams in the country, but on my power ratings, I've got them both 4 points clear of everybody else. That's a pretty substantial margin. Kansas is still a very good team, but this is not one of the great Kansas squads. There's some flaws on this team. I don't think this game's going to be close. And I think that the line is at a point where if you don't follow these teams closely, you'll just look at it and say, well, Kansas +9, I'm not passing that up. I think you should, and I think you should take Baylor. Baylor will make a statement in this game, too. There's not going to be any letdown coming out of the Texas Tech game. If anything, that's going to boost their confidence even more, going on the road, getting a win against a really good Texas Tech team. There have been no other close games for Baylor. They'll want to beat this team. They've lost the last two in Waco against the Jayhawks, so there's not a chance in the world they're going to overlook Kansas. I think it'll be competitive for a while, but Baylor's a lot better team, in my opinion. And I think when it's all said and done, they win by 12 to 15 points. So laying 8.5 or 9, not a bad idea with the Baylor Bears.
Bri, listen, if it's one thing about Kansas, they tend to keep some games close, maybe close for a little while. Ultimately, are you leaning on Baylor to get the job done?
I'll tell you, Dave's right. I've got these two teams in Gonzaga and Baylor so much higher than anybody else. It's an elite group. And if you were to told me before the season that Kansas is going to be getting 9 points against Baylor, I thought it might have been a football game. This Kansas basketball team is in rare air here, catching 9 points. They played well on the road this season, but they are off that loss at Oklahoma State, where they shot 5 of 21 from distance against the Cowboys. I like the front court of both these teams. They're both strong on the offensive boards. When you're taking a look at Baylor around the season, they've been tremendous on the road, which is why their offense, why I only ranked 117th at home, because they've been so good on the road. But they haven't played nearly as well at home. But with that really shouldn't mean a thing here, especially when you're playing a Kansas team who has dominated this conference for years. I don't think Baylor's going to be taking a foot off the pedal if they get that chance here. Their adjusted offensive rank is 4th offensively, 2nd defensively, 3rd in the country in forcing turnovers. Baylor's the better team. Baylor can name the score here if Kansas isn't playing well. But it's hard for me to not take a look at that Kansas thing and say, man, this line's awful high for them. The players don't feel they're a 9-point underdog. I think it's going to be close, but I'm not going to be on either side of this. I'll sit back and watch. Baylor's a team I really don't want to go against.
Ralph, I mean, Baylor, 4th-rated offense, top-ranked defense. You got to play 40 minutes against these guys if you're going to have a chance. Do you give Kansas a chance to be able to – it would have to be the most complete game they've played all year.
I actually do give Kansas a chance only for the first half. Baylor was off that physical Texas Tech game, and that was on the road. Kansas had their weekend game canceled. So they're off the Oklahoma State game, a game that Bill Self said, WTF. They allowed 37 fast break points to your Oklahoma State Cowboys, Joe. 37 fast break points. That's not Kansas. So, to have the whole week to prep for Baylor, to be able to stick with them close off Baylor off that loss. Dave had some situations last week where that Big 12 team that had the favorable schedule, obviously you're not going against Baylor. I do lean with the under here. I do think Kansas can keep it close, having that extra practice and having those fresh legs early, but I think Baylor does wear them out in the second half.
A game against Texas Tech over the weekend, the first time Baylor has not won by double digits all year long here, guys. They're laying 9.5 in this game. Are they going to be able to get it done? Going to be a great game for sure. And a quick reminder, opportunities are knocking. Take advantage, $199. Get 30 days all access. Every college hoops play, every NBA play from these guys. Right now, it's going away. Don't know how much longer it's going to be here for the rest of the day. Take advantage of it. $199. Head over to WagerTalk.com and get signed up. Let's take a look at our Gold Sheet play of the day here. Ralph, our friends at the Gold Sheet, they're putting up St. John's here. This game getting ready to tip off in just about 30 minutes. Those of you that are watching live right now, we talked about this game originally, but it looks like Gold Sheet's going with St. John's, Ralph.
Yeah, and I did actually tweet it out already because I once I realized it was an early afternoon game. So head to my Twitter. You can read the entire write-up at Cal Sports LV on why the gold sheet likes St. John's.
All right, let's dive into some of our best bets here. Brian Leonard at B. Leonard Sports. Guys, make sure you are following him on Twitter. We're going to start with you. Best bet of the day. What do you got circled for us, my friend?
Keep in mind, it's a small card, and a couple of the other games I liked the lines moved on me, so I couldn't give those out. I'm going to go to my hometown team here, the UNLV Running Rebels.
Ooh.
Lobos have lost 7 straight Division I games. All have been by double digits. Talking about a bad shooting team, this could be the worst shooting team I've seen in years. They're terrible for three-point shooting, ranking 344th, almost as bad in two-point ranking at 342nd, and in free throws, 317th. Now, normally you'll find some team that's good at one of those three. This team's terrible in all three. Nobody on the roster plays 70% of the minutes or more, which tells you there's not a quality player on this team. If there was, he'd be playing the entire game on this squad. And you've got a team in New Mexico that has no home. They've been on the road all season long. They do play. They have been here against the Rebels. They played the other night. And the Rebels are up to number 69th in offensive adjusted efficiency. After playing the likes of North Carolina, Alabama, Davidson, and Colorado State, this team is really enjoying stepping down in class. UNLV has been a bully. When they have a team that they can beat, they run out the scores on. No look ahead. Benedictine Mesa on deck. I think they get the best of them for the second straight day and second straight game and win this one easily.
Yeah, they suck. Thank goodness we didn't talk about that game, Dave. All right, Dave, I know you had mentioned earlier.
I would have talked about that game because I agree with Brian. Rebels might have some issues with Marvin Johnson's out for the year, the point guard, but it probably won't matter here. I can't disagree with anything Brian just said on that game. New Mexico's just a train wreck this year. Best bet for me, my actual best bet is an NHL game, and that's up for $9 at WagerTalk. WT.buzz/DC is my homepage. 12-2 best bet run in college basketball. I don't have a best bet in college basketball today, but I did play Baylor minus the points. So that's obviously a game I like. It's a 3% play. On the screen here, it says Louisville as the best bet. But if you're listening to this, my actual best bet here on the show is obviously the game I'm playing, which is Baylor minus the 8.5. I really can't recommend Louisville at minus 3.5. You're getting the worst of the number now, and that's just a bad idea if you're betting sports. You don't knowingly take the worst of the number.
Yep, you miss it, you miss it. It is what it is. Ralph, go ahead, my friend. Where you pointing us to here today? Number 300 and what?
I'm in the 160s. Come on. I'm fading VMI. I mean, VMI comes in at 7-6, and they have some nice wins, but they beat multiple lower division teams. VMI has not yet won on the road. East Tennessee State, I think this price is cheap. My power rating has them at 10.5. East Tennessee State is off the loss, but it's to Furman. Furman by far the best team in the SoCon. Other than that, you're 5-1 your last 6 with the only other loss at Alabama. So clearly, I just think there's value on the East Tennessee State Buccaneers laying 7.5 to VMI.
All right, there you go. And I'm gonna look for Wyoming to bounce back on the road against Air Force. Game 2 of that situation here. It opened up at 1.5. I'm seeing 3 now. But 2 evenly teams. Air Force, they just choked it away, Wyoming, at the end of the game. They should have won that game on Saturday, so I like them to be able to take care of business here tonight. And as we take a look at the recap here of the best bets for you guys, if you just happen to fast forward and get us to this point, let's take a look once again. Ralph Michaels going ETS. East Tennessee State laying the 7.5. Dave's going Baylor -9, 8.5. Brian Leonard going UNLV laying to 12 against that high school team known as New Mexico. I'm going to go Wyoming laying to 3. And the gold sheet likes that St. John's game, guys. +7 right now, getting ready to tip off here in just about 15 minutes as we do this show. Once again, guys, take advantage. $9 Monday right now. WagerTalk Sports Memo. All the best bets, $9 right now at WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. And while you still can and it's available, $199, guys. We'll get you 30 days all access, every college play, every NBA basketball play from these gentlemen, all yours, $199. Take advantage of that right now at WagerTalk.com. Brian Leonard, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for taking the time. We'll see you again soon. Dave Koken, don't forget his best bet, $9 NHL. Go get it. Ralph Michaels, WagerTalk.com. I'm Joe Raineri. Guys, best of luck with your plays here today. Come back, hit that bell in the right-hand corner, get notified. Come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Best of luck tonight, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.